How is everyone?
Good.
Kelly, thanks for being one of our presenters today. Well, I have the honor of introducing, Kim Kelly. And I'm going to go ahead and get started if that's okay. Kind of manage our time here. So you all are here for critical thinking. My students can do this. And our presenter today is Kimberly Kelly, and she is a data-driven educator that continually gets higher than average results in improving students' reading fluency and comprehension. Her approach is to never dumb down the curriculum and instead raises the bar for students who have continually been let down by the educational system by being placed in the low or struggling classes. She taught middle school special education for 7 years and is currently teaching reading at an adult high school. In 2015, she won a National Excellence in Teaching Award for consistently showing extraordinary growth in students with learning disabilities. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kim, are we doing questions in the chat only, or do you want people to be unmuted?
So we're going to do both. We're going to do a little combination because I'm going to ask you questions, and when I ask you something, just unmute yourself and share. Also, though, go ahead and put questions in the chat room when, it's just random, and we'll get back to them, kind of like that parking lot that we always have at meetings, where you put the sticky note on there. And we're also going to use Nearpod today. I don't know how many of you are all familiar with that, but I'm going to share the link to the Nearpod lesson in the chat. So you can copy and paste it. I'm also going to be sharing my screen with you so that you can see what I see as a teacher when I use Nearpod, because Nearpod, especially if we're going to have to continue this lovely online distance learning, to me is just a really great resource for keeping students engaged. So if you all could join the Nearpod link, that would be great. And I will get ready to share my screen with you. If you're having a hard time with that link, you can join by going to, or if you want to use it on your phone, you can go to join.nearpod.com, and I can give you the code to get into. I see 7 of you so far are online on Nearpod. We're going to wait just a few more minutes to get everybody a chance. All right. Oh, I see a puppy behind somebody. Nope. Yep. Oh, how cute. I have 3 cats, so they might make an appearance. Hopefully not, because they like to sleep on my computer. They're constantly battling them. All right, I have 13 of you that are currently logged in. If you can see my computer, you can see where I can see where you've logged in or not. And what's really great about it is not only will it allows you as a teacher to see who's logged in and following along, but it will tell you who is not participating as well. Like they've zoned out on you after they've logged in.
What was the code? I'm sorry. Oh, I see it at the top left. Never mind.
Yep.
I just switched devices so I didn't have to use my computer. Okay.
No worries. All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm jealous somebody's in their classroom. I haven't seen my classroom in forever. Okay. So just a bit about me and why this work matters so much to me and how I came to it. I myself am dyslexic. I'm also a teenage mother and a high school dropout. So all of those things kind of go with who we teach a lot of times, right? I'm also the mother of a daughter who is now 26. She has a significant learning disability in math. It was a really huge struggle with her in school, especially grade school and middle school. She did graduate from high school with honors. That itself was a struggle because the school didn't want to allow her to be in special education and also in the higher learning classes at the same time. But she does have a master's degree. I went on and got my college, went on and graduated from college, mainly because I was struggling with how to help her in navigate the special education system. So I became a special education teacher, and that's the reason why. And none of this is lost on me of the irony of becoming a high school reading teacher. So, you know, dyslexic high school dropout, you don't typically think, oh, they're going to become a high school reading teacher. And I am currently enrolled in grad school, so we'll see how that goes. I'm excited. And you can see some pictures of my students on this other side. I really, really love what I do. I hope it shows through in my pictures and my enthusiasm. This is our agenda for the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about why we do what we do. Because that's really important when we're creating our lessons, to remember the why. We're going to talk about what it means to create a classroom that's engaging for everybody and how we overcome obstacles that our students might face. And then the very end is going to be my favorite part. We're going to share some resources on ideas, so I'm going to lean on all of you for your input. And at the end, I'll put all of this together in an email for you so you don't have to memorize any of the stuff we're talking about today, and I will send that all out. If we have time, I would love to share my favorite vocabulary game that I play online with my students. It's about 7 minutes long. If you're interested in staying during lunch, I will totally stay with you and play that game. It's really easy to create. All right, so we're gonna watch a short video. It's about 3 minutes long. And as you watch it, I want you to think about why you teach and why you get out of bed every morning to do this work. Because again, the why is really gonna help us when we're creating those amazing lesson plans. Nearpod is a little different if you haven't used it. You're all going to play it all separately on your own screens. So I'll pause or silence myself so that you will be able to play it on your screen and not hear it through mine. And that's on. So hopefully everybody is on Nearpod. If you're not on Nearpod, now is your chance. I've posted the link in the comment section. All right. All devices. So go ahead and hit play and watch this video. hopefully you guys enjoyed that and haven't seen it before. I just really, that to me, because my why I teach is so important, it comes out in my lessons, because I know the difference between being a poor, uneducated, struggling teenage mother and my life now. And I want that for our students. So that's my why, but I want to hear your whys. So the next screen is a collaborative board. So you can just share your thoughts and ideas here. So why do you teach? Why do you get out of bed every morning to do this work? So you'll just type in there and then post it, and everybody else will be able to see it. And if you see something you really like, you can put a heart on their sticky note so that they know that you've seen it and you like it.
I think I might be doing something wrong
Okay.
because I don't know how to get to that. Do it on the Zoom group chat.
Okay. So did you join with the link on the Zoom group chat?
Yes.
So are you on Nearpod itself, or are you just looking at my screen?
Oh, I'm just looking at your screen.
Yeah, so go ahead and join us on Nearpod. So you can go to nearpod.com and I can give you the code, or the link to the actual lesson is already in the chat.
In the chat.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at the chat on Zoom,
Mhm.
the link is there. I love all of these answers.
Okay, so I don't see it anywhere. Let's see if I can.
So go to nearpod.com.
Okay.
And once you're on nearpod.com, you're going to join as a student. And I'm going to give you the code. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's GNZVQ.
Got it.
I love this. To help others begin the journey to greater opportunities unlocked through education.
Aha, I see it now.
Excellent. Oh, and I totally agree with this. I taught in public schools for 30 years. I didn't, but I still understand the sentiment. And there were many students who I wanted to help, but could not help because of school policies. Excel allows us in so many ways to work around those policies or work around those things and make sure that we're helping each individual student. One of the reasons why I love my job so much. So these are our whys. This is, you know, why we want to make sure that our lessons are the most amazing, powerful things that they could possibly be. I want to take a moment to discuss the different types of lessons that we teach. So the learning continuum is really what we're discussing here. And, you know, if you have anything to say, I want you to unmute yourself. Now is a great time. So these are what kinds of behaviors or thinking each of these images might represent. So these are 3 different lessons, 3 different types of lessons that we're going to look at. And they're all important in their own way. Like you need all of these things, but we really want to get to that wrestling with ideas, right? So what do you think each image represents when you're making your lesson plans? We got the fly on the wall, busy bees, and wrestling with ideas.
Fly on the wall is a lecture, and that's the kind I hate the most.
You're right. But it does have to happen every once in a while. Like you do have to sometimes give that knowledge. Like I don't want to dismiss any of these. And same thing with the busy bees. The busy bees is that like that work, that repetitive work to make somebody memorize something, you know? There is a little bit of that needs to really happen. We're gonna watch.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think of rigor when I look at these because I know, especially as an English teacher, I really wrestle with this because in a classroom, we get into such deep conversations, which really, you know, not only is whole groups, but I have them in small groups. So this has been one of the challenges online because I feel like we don't get to that deep conversation as often as we did.
Uh-huh.
And so I have to kind of push them into that almost on their own and have them talk with people in their homes or whatever, because they don't really connect with each other. I've tried to set up like little Zoom groups and that doesn't work.
Same, yeah. You know, and hopefully like some of these Nearpod techniques will work for you. That's what I found is most helpful is breaking them up that way. We're gonna watch 3 very short clips, the last of the videos, I promise. And it's the same process again. Each video, you're gonna think about what image best represents the learning experience you observe. And then, and then at the end, I'll have a little quiz, not quiz, it's just one question. Which one do you think it represents? But you're gonna play it on your own computer screen. So I'll go silent and just let you watch it, okay? Okay, so you're just gonna write your answer here. What image what image best represents the learning experience you just observed? And if you're looking at my screen, you can see, if you're gonna use this for your students, you can see on my screen how I know when everybody is done. I also can see their answers instantly. Just to wrap it all up. And if you look down here, one more thing on my screen, I can see who is not engaged anymore. I don't want to call anybody out, but just so you know, like the green dots and stuff like that. So that's, again, makes it really easy to know what's going on in your classroom when you're not person to person. All right, next video, my friends, go ahead. All right. So go ahead and share your answers for this one. And then we have one more video that we're going to watch. Everybody's favorite type of classrooms. Go ahead and select which image best represents the learning experience you observed.
Ooh, so you just like made us anonymous too.
I
That's
did. Yeah.
I like that because a lot of students would, I mean, we probably don't care, but a lot of students do like, oh, I don't know, you know.
Well, and I wouldn't necessarily share my screen with students. I'm sharing it with you all so you can see it from my side.
So if we wanted, and I'm sorry, you're probably going to this, but like if I wanted to throw this stuff on my screen though and say, okay, so, you know, most of you said A or whatever. Why? Would you use it then at that point for a conversation? Would you want to show names or no?
I think it would depend on your class each time, right? Like sometimes you have a different relationship with the different classes. So you could do that. You could share out information like that. And I also think if it's a right or wrong answer would matter because sometimes there is no wrong answer. So maybe you're just trying to get that discussion started. Like I see you feel this way. So yeah, I think you can share it in different ways.
Another question along the same lines is, can students, can you set up slideshow so students can start and finish it by themselves, like polls, videos, and everything?
Yeah, so you can totally, so we are in a live lesson right now, but I could have sent this all out to you as a do-it-yourself lesson. So you could have done all of this on your own. And yeah. I'll get back to some more Nearpod features at the end if you want, because I really enjoy Nearpod. Not trying to, like, I don't get paid from them, so this is not, I don't need them to make a profit. And also, you can use the free service. Our school has happened to purchased it for us, but there are free services for Nearpod. All right, so what we've been dealing with is our learning continuum, right? So we're going to tie this all together with the learning continuum now before we start working on some lesson plans. And by lesson plans, nobody freak out. I'm just talking about like the bare bones description. So passive learning, engagement, and academic engagement is the learning continuum, and it's broken down. So I want you to just kind of tie it all together for yourselves right now in where each of those levels represent. So our busy bees, our elephants that we're wrestling, and our fly on the wall, they all go to different parts of the learning continuum. So you're just drawing lines. All right. I think most everybody submitted. I am going to move on. Okay. So this, and I'm going to share this with you. Do not feel like you need to write any of this down. I will put all of this in a document for you, but this is the actual learning continuum. And what we are going to try to focus on today is the academic engagement piece. So how we can get students to take charge of their own learning, basically, and really understand what's going on and what they are doing. I think, to me, one of the biggest, most important pieces of this is always going to be that feedback piece that students receive. So teaching students how to receive feedback, and also being okay and comfortable giving feedback is really important. As a special education teacher, I always got from all of my teachers, my gen ed teachers, especially in middle school, because everybody knows how fun middle schoolers can be. I always got, but my, this student, it's always your student. When you're a special ed teacher, all of a sudden, Johnny is your student. Your student can't do this. So you should take them for this time period, because there's no way, right? So how do we create our classroom so we're teaching the same lesson to everybody, but that everybody can do it, right? And that's always the struggle as a teacher. And so the three things that I want you to think about for this is always applying an equity lens, using UDLs, which is Universal Design for Learning Strategies. And if you Google UDL, you will find tons of different strategies. And then use technology. Students have their cell phones on them usually. And I know in the classroom, we don't want them texting, and we don't want them, video calling and talking to folks while they're on their cell phones, but teach them to use their cell phones. It's there, and it's going to improve not just for your class, but it's going to improve their life if they know how to use that device in a way that's useful. So the first thing that I talked about was applying this equity lens. And I'm going to give this to you, so we're not going to read over all of it, but I just wanted you to see it. So just making sure that you're always asking the questions. Who is not actively engaged in class? What can I do about that? Am I making sure that my lessons are relevant to them? Am I making sure that I'm using growth mindset for my students so that as they are learning to struggle, they know that it's okay in their struggle? All of these questions are just really important to ask yourselves as you're creating lessons. And then the last thing is UDL. So making sure that you're doing things that are visual, that are hands-on, that you're using the manipulatives for math, you're pre-teaching and doing pre-reading and pre-writing, and that's so important to make sure you are connecting all those texts to everywhere. There's, like I said, tons of different UDLs. The ABC summary is where you write the alphabet and you have the class come up with what did we just learn today? What did we talk about? And they have to give you a letter, they have to give you a word for each letter. So that's just something fun to do at the end of class. I mean, there's just so many different ways to break it down for folks. And this document is one of my favorites. And again, I'm going to share it with you, so no worries. But this is to level the playing field using technology. It has just about everything you could think of for how to engage students of all different kinds of disabilities, of all different kinds of levels. Like, what are you going to, how are you going to do this for different students? And it's really all right here, like this Rewordify website that simplifies the English language for students. Like, that's really great, especially if you have an ELL student or if you just have a struggling reader in your class, so that you can give them the same work. Again, with their phones, they can download different apps so that they can use speech to text and text to speech. That's super important. There's a dyslexia website, Read and Write Works. I mean, just about everything. And again, I'm going to share all of this with you, so no worries there. All right, what I want you to think about right now, what I want you to think about right now is what is something that you're going to try next year or this coming school year to make your lessons more accessible to your students? And I'm having you share out just so other people can steal your ideas. And you can add pictures, website images, whatever you want for these sticky notes. And I'm going to start talking fast because we're going to run out of time. I'm really good at that. Hope everybody's thinking and just not, I've lost you all. There we go. Excellent. All right. Next set, or next thing that we're going to do. So as a teacher, I beg, borrow, and steal all of the time. That's where all of my ideas come from. I am not very creative in the end. It's a true story. I just make it up. So I want you to think about your most creative lesson, okay? And all that included, right? That lesson that all of the students were paying attention and actively engaged in and learning. I want you're gonna describe the lesson. You're gonna say why you think this lesson was successful. You're gonna talk about the strategy that you used. This isn't gonna be long, but I'm gonna share this at the end with everybody so everybody can steal your ideas too. So I'll put this all in an email so you can all have hopefully 20 different new ideas to come to you, okay? This is an example of just what I did. You can do it different ways. I'm gonna have you put your email at the top so that everybody will be able to contact you if they have any questions about it. So the example that I used was about a lesson that I did for my reading foundation class. We were reading the book A Mighty Long Way. It's about the Little Rock Nine. And in that I was building some background knowledge, that pre-teaching piece, right? And we were talking about the Jim Crow laws. And what I did was a discussion or a World Cafe strategy. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but World Cafe, you set up these different tables and groups go around and they discuss different things at these different tables. One person stays behind from each group then and leads the next group. So they have to understand it enough to be able to teach it and lead a whole discussion. So that's why it works really well. And I think this strategy would work well in math. If you had like 4 challenging questions and they had to answer it and they were like long enough that they would have to build upon it. So that was my example there.
I'm sorry, but I have a question because this is the kind of thing I love using in the classroom and I just haven't figured out how to use it online. Are you using these kinds of things online?
So this is not something I've done online, no. Just an example that I did in the classroom before. And, you know, and so that's a great point. So if you want to, when you're sharing with us, if you have something online that you want to use, since we're in an online world, that would be really great. But I'm looking for just any kind of examples so that we all have something that we can share with. So that's going to be on this next page. I gave us 7 minutes to do this. So you can go ahead and start typing. All right. And like I said, don't worry about anything. It's not graded or anything like that. I'm just sharing it with all of us so that we have those ideas. About 2 minutes left, my friends. Wrap up that last sentence and go ahead and hit submit. Whatever you have is fine, I promise. In a perfect world, this probably would have been, you know, a few days and we would have had more time to discuss and share these in person. But again, I'm going to put them all in an email for you guys so that you can see them and steal each other's ideas and improve our ideas for our lessons. So I'm happy that I'm wrapping up and it is almost time to go because I want to get you all out of here on time. So thank you everybody for participating in that. I have one last question to ask you guys. And one thing I wanted to point out, so on the collaborative board on my screen, before you guys start posting, it asked me, would you like to approve students' comments before they post? So if you have students that you're worried about that might say something a little off the wall, you can approve beforehand. So that's nice. So if you have a website or just anything that you use that you find really helpful that you would like to share with everybody, please post that now. I'm going to post one of my favorites, which is Facing History. and ourselves. It is a wonderful teaching resource with lesson plans if you teach history. I think it's facinghistory.org. Let's make sure. I know there's some other great ones out there. So that again, I can just share this with everybody and we all have more information than what we came with. Yes. All right. Math is fun. I haven't heard that one. TK12. Nice. All right. So, like, you know, I said, I'm really, I steal everything. So I did steal some of these ideas from that I used today from Nearpod's Ready to Run PD session, closing the loop, and also from Nearpod's Ready to Run PD session, moving away from passive learning. I will stay on if you guys want more information for Nearpod, or if anybody wants to do my fun and amazing word game. But I hope all of you have a great and wonderful day and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Kim,
Yes.
can the word game be used for math problems too? Or is it strictly vocabulary? Well, you could use math vocabulary.
So it's a made up word game. So you can't, yeah. You can't really, you can use it in math class and they can try to make up new fun definitions, but it's made up. So you can't use it for actual vocabulary building in that way.
Okay, well, I'm going to stick around. I'm curious anyway.
Okay.
Before you start, do you mind if I put in some input and also can I ask you a question?
Awesome. Yes.
So first of all, what is your main content area, or do you have one?
I teach reading foundations.
Okay. So, and what was that one question where you asked everybody, like what not what resources, but what is the new thing you're going to try this next term? Was that like for engaging students? Was that the topic?
It was after talking about.
It was like, what are you going to do to do something with students? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm getting back there for you. Accessibility. What is something new that you will try this school year to make your lesson plans more accessible?
Because for me, I'm a science and technology teacher, and I used oodles of technology in my classroom, and I don't really think, especially for my age population, that technology is really what makes my class accessible. I think what makes the knowledge accessible to my students is when they can connect the content with their lives. And I think that's what that first video was really trying to get across, is that, you know, do your students know why they're there? And for me, I think it's really easy to tell my students why I'm teaching and why I want to teach, what my goal is to help them. But I think it's really hard for my students to connect to why are they in a science classroom. They understand why, they understand like that first guy said, they understand that they're there for high school credit, but why do they have to be in a science class due to that? You know, for example, I had this one student, his name is Timmy, and every time in lecture, especially like the day before test, he'd always like say, "Can you repeat that again?" And he'd write down everything I say word for word. And I think that a lot of my students write down what I say word for word, but they're not digesting, well, what does this mean for my life? Like, how can I apply science to my life? Or what am I going to need this past tomorrow's test? And I think that's the thing I struggle with the most, is just getting my students to understand, or trying to help them see how can they use science past tomorrow's test. And I think one thing I want to do for next term is just tell them, you know, well, here's why you're in the science class. Here's why it can be important to your life. But I wanted to hear from you, like, what do you think are some things I could do to help my students engage? Because, you know, they just have a really hard time engaging in science because they don't do science on a daily basis. What, you know, they do budgets, they go to work, they take care of kids, they read and write. How can I bring science a little bit closer to them?
I think anytime that you can connect it to their community and their home life, because science is all around us, right? I mean, it's in cooking, it's in, you know, everything that we do. So anytime you can make that connection, a tangible connection, is really helpful. And you know why science is important. So sharing, and especially with what's going on in the world today, you know, we have a president that doesn't believe in, and I'm not trying to get political, sorry. We have a president that doesn't believe in science. And we have coronavirus cases going through the roof right now. So just that, making those connections of real life, what's happening, what, you know, what your community looks like because of science, you know, what's in your community, what kinds of things are in your community that are science. It's everything. It's, you know, your wildlife and what's there and what that looks like and what happens if we do this to our rivers and things like that. You know, if you have a fishing community, what does that mean when we pollute our rivers? Or what does it mean when we bring in something else, some other animal into our community to the rest, or plants or something that doesn't belong there? Just really connecting those pieces. And when I talk about technology, what I mean more about leveling the playing field is, if you have a student that's reading at a 5th grade level and you're giving them, you know, 11th grade text, technology is going to help build that bridge. If they have an app on their phone and they can just take a picture of that text and it's going to read it to them. So I don't mean that it's like it's what's going to keep them engaged. I just mean it's what's going to level that like field for them. Does that make sense? Oh, you're muted.
I agree with that. I guess I was just saying that I guess it just isn't everything. I mean, even with all that technology, you can still be missing that connection piece.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You always, I mean, I think connecting everything to their home life, their community, and why it matters to them is always going to be the most important piece of that. Why are they learning this?
Can I add something really quickly? Like,
yes, please.
Project-based learning. My previous school, we did a lot of project-based learning, and what we did was went out into the community and found problems that were literally local. And we would find a driving question from that. And then from there, then we'll have the students connect with maybe a business that's here, or, you know, Dow AgriSciences, or the other, what is it? I can't think, the pharmaceutical company downtown. Lilly. So, you know, pairing our students with someone like that and seeking and having them find the real world issue that's in their community and driving that with the content that we're using in that particular lesson, whether it's biology or whether it's physics. I'm also a science teacher, and I teach earth, space, biology, and physical science. So I know, like, that has helped me when I relate that to real life problems and kind of help them find the problem to see, okay, what is the issue? And then find how that connects with the content that I'm currently teaching. So that's what I found kind of successful for my students, is having them find the issue and then bring the content with that issue so that they can see this is real life and this is why we need it. That's all.
Thank you. That was amazing.
No problem.
Are you from Indy? Not Valencia? Not Indy. You're near Indy, right?
Yeah, Excel Center West.
Okay, yeah, because before our Excel Center opened, me and the other science teachers from Missouri came to your science classroom. I remember that day.
Oh, yeah. Great
All
to
right.
see you again.
Reunion. So this is my word game if you want to play along. So the word that is up there is black cocaine, I guess. I don't know. However you want to pronounce that word. It is a totally made up word. It's a noun. Remember that a noun is a person, place, or thing. Your job right now is to create a totally made up definition for that word. Remembering that it is a noun. So go ahead and post up your definitions for black cocaine. Yeah.
Sounds like an adjective to me.
You can make it whatever you want. It's a really great way to review adjectives and verbs and nouns and all of that fun stuff with students. All right, so there is, it looks like 3 choices of definitions. You are going to put a, oh, we got 4. Yes, you are going to put a heart on the definition that you like the best. Five. I didn't wait long enough. Sorry, guys. It's a sweet rock-like candy. Love it. So go ahead and put your heart on the definition that you like the best. All right. Looks like our winner for this definition is white sugar cane plain. So on the next slide, using the definition that we just created, you're going to create a synonym. So the definition that we just created was this. I'm going to go ahead and post that up there. White sugar cane plain. You're going to create a synonym for the word black cocaine. And remember that a synonym is a word. Synonym is a word or phrase that means exactly or nearly the same thing as the other word. Go ahead and write your word up there. Did I lose everybody else besides Nathan? I think I did. So Nathan, the way this
I'm
ends.
here, but I'm thinking.
Okay, woo!
I almost won. Oh, man.
Give it to Nathan.
All right, so I'm gonna just go through how this ends. So you all pretend you all wrote wonderful, amazing made-up words or real words. And the way it would end is I would then go to this very next slide where you would take the definition and make a sentence. And when you make the sentence, you can either ask them to make it just like a regular sentence, like I did, or you can ask them to make it into a question or an explanation, however, however you wanted to do that. And it's just a really easy way to review little bits of grammar with your class and turn it into a game. So that would be the end. Does anybody have questions about Nearpod? Because I promised I would get back to that. We're all good? That's all I have for you then, my friends. We are done for the day, and I will send out all this information to you later.
Can I say something to you, Kim?
Yes, absolutely.
I was really engaged during this session. I'm not sure if it was the Nearpod or just you, but it was really cool. And like in my last session, I was trying to take attendance. I didn't have time to mess with any of that this time. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really got me to think about how to change things up next term.
Great. I am so glad to hear that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim. That was awesome.
Thank you.